In today's video, we're talking about pandering. Pandering is a crime in Arizona. We're not talking about political pandering, which politicians all over the country do on a daily basis. We're talking about criminal pandering. It's related to prostitution. And so if we look at the dictionary definition, we'll see what the dictionary defines it as. Then we will take a look at the Arizona statutes and see the different ways that a person can be charged and convicted of pandering. And then finally, what that means in terms of penalties. So let's take a quick look. According to dictionary.com, pandering is when somebody furnishes clients for a prostitute. So in other words, this is also known as, in common vernacular, a pimp. So pandering is when somebody is pimping out other individuals to become prostitutes. That's the long and short of it. In Arizona, under the law, it's criminally defined by A.R.S. 3209, and somebody can be charged with pandering when they are knowingly doing one of the following things. So it's not all four of them, it's any one of the four can be enough for somebody to be charged with pandering. So let's take a look at what they are. The first way that somebody can be charged with pandering is if they are knowingly, so they have to knowingly do this, it can't be an accident or something they didn't know about, but if they're knowingly placing a person in charge or in custody of another person for the purposes of prostitution. So that is if somebody has custody over another person, or they have basically any authority over that other person, if they're in charge of that other individual, and the purpose of them being in charge of that person is to put that person into prostitution or to prostitute that person out, that's pandering. The number two way that somebody can be charged is if they put that person in a house of prostitution with the intent of that person committing prostitution. So in other videos, we defined what prostitution is, but if somebody is knowingly putting another individual in a house or a building of prostitution, that person who does that, who puts that person in that place, can be charged with pandering. The third way somebody can be charged with pandering is if they are compelling, they're encouraging, or they are inducing a person to reside with another person for the purposes of prostitution. So that is putting somebody in a residence. They are taking one person and having them reside with another person for the purpose of that person prostituting themselves with that resident or with other people at that residence. That is a way that somebody is charged with pandering. And finally, probably the most common, it's very generic, it's broad, it encompasses a lot, is if a person compels, induces, or encourages another individual to become a prostitute or to engage in prostitution, to go down the prostitution route. It's very generic, as you can see. It doesn't require a residence, doesn't require a house of prostitution, doesn't require somebody being in charge or in custody of somebody. It's if they're compelling somebody, they're inducing somebody, or they're encouraging somebody. Encouragement doesn't mean giving them friendly words of encouragement, but it's basically pushing them to go become a prostitute. That person can be found or charged and be found guilty of pandering under the law. It is important to know, all of these pandering charges are fairly serious felonies. So in Arizona, we've got 6 levels of felony offenses. Class 1 is the most serious. It's really only for murder. Then you have 2 through 6. 6 is the least serious. All of these different pandering charges are class 5 felonies. So they're not the least serious, they're not the most serious, but they're class 5 felonies. Normal prostitution is just a class 1 misdemeanor. So just the fact that somebody is kind of orchestrating it, somebody is acting as a pimp, somebody is encouraging other individuals to go out and prostitute themselves, to go live in a house of prostitution, to do anything related to prostitution, it's going to be a class 5 felony. Depending on a person's background, that can mean probation, that can mean a very, very long time in prison. So it's important that if you've been charged with pandering or you know somebody's been charged with pandering, you have them give our office a call. We want to review the facts of their case. We want to take a look at what happened specifically as it relates to them. We want to make sure that we know the bounds of what we're working with here in terms of the actual case itself, so we can build some defenses around it, but more specifically, what the potential penalties are and how we can mitigate those, how we can really reduce those down so that a person is not convicted of a class 5 felony, a person is not serving time in prison, a person can rectify the situation and get back on with their lives. We offer free case evaluations, meaning give us a call. We're not going to charge you a dime to speak with you. We look forward to speaking with you soon. Give us a call immediately. We'll get working on your case. Thanks for watching.